Hey, what's up, guys? So we're approaching another week of some pretty turmoil stuff in the market, and it isn't looking like it's going to end anytime soon. There is a catalogue of things going on here. It's not just one thing at play. It's not just interest rates and mortgage products and all of these other things, high inflation affecting not just the housing market, but the UK economy and the success and failure of people and entrepreneurs and business owners. And I've been thinking about this for such a long time. As you know, I go to Dubai a lot. I've become a huge fan of that place and its culture and how it works and how the whole system it functions internally. And I am involved in lots of property transactions and buying and refurbishing and renting out. And if you just take away all of the headlines at the moment, inflation, interest rates, mortgage products, house prices dropping, all of those things, and you just take the general day to day running of a business or a property investor's portfolio and what you have to contend with because of the way the country is run. And the country is broken. I think we all know it. And right through to buying a property and having to pay stamp duty, to then having to pay council tax on an empty property, even if you're refurbishing it, or if a commercial property is sat there empty whilst you're trying to find tenants or improve it to make it accessible for new businesses, you have to pay business rates. So there's all these other forms of tax. If you go and get planning permission, you have to pay SIL, which is pretty much another form of tax, Section 106. And locally, we've got the nutrient neutrality, which has basically brought planning and new planning applications to its knees for nearly 2 years. And the solution to fixing that is by buying credits, so another payment, another form of tax. And then when you come to renting the property out, you have to meet HMO licensing standards and other building regulations, which is all there to be safe. The problem is you have so many government bodies and so many government employees who don't understand the real world that from the point of buying a property to the very point of renting it out and then ongoing issues or even selling it and the ongoing process within that, you're taxed heavily. There's huge amounts of things that you have to pay for which may not be a form of tax, but they are definitely a government payment that you're paying for something you don't really want. And really, to be at the very end position where you're left facing massive uncertainty when you bring back the headlines like interest rates, like inflation, like price reductions. And you have to start to ask yourself, is it even worth carrying on in this country? The rest of the world has become so accessible for everyone because of technology. It's no longer such a big deal to go and buy properties abroad, to go and set up businesses in different countries. And when you move somewhere, normally and historically, you'd have to move there permanently, your bank accounts, your kids' schooling. But now the way the world works is you can hop from city and country several times a year. So actually, you don't have to move your whole life permanently. When all that is said and done, is it still commercially viable? Is it still intelligent investing to even consider the UK? Because of the heavy taxes, because of the heavy red tapes in front of you, and because of the amount of public sector workers who don't know their arse to their elbow, but they can start to really cause you some disruptions. Now, I'll fight everything. I could have got a 500 quid fine last year, but I spent £14,000 on a barrister to fight my case to make my local council look stupid. And I would implore anyone to do the same. But is that time not better spent doing deals, bringing money into the economy and creating jobs? And that's what these councillors and that's what these governing bodies fail to recognise. If I look at the last 10 years and look at the amount of millions of pounds I've brought into my local market in terms of outside investment, and I look how much I've contributed to the local economy. And now, if I consider completely taking that out to a different country, how many other people are also doing the same? And over years, the compound effect of that means that we'll be left with two types of people: government bodies and workers and benefit claimants. Not a great place to be.